John Wayne Gacy, known as the Killer Clown, is a prolific American serial killer and sex offender who, during his reign of terror, tortured, raped, and strangled at least 33 young men. 2 or 3 of his victims went missing while he was confirmed as out of town for work. Did the Killer Clown have a posse? He earned the moniker the Killer Clown because he was an amateur clown who performed at charitable events, political fundraisers, and children's hospitals. Claiming to have multiple personality disorder, he blamed the policeman personality, known as Bad Jack, for his crimes. What about the other 3 personalities? The contractor, the clown, and the politician? I don't know. Maybe those 3 are framing the other personality. And why just one clown personality when he used to dress up as 2 different clowns, Pogo and Patches? He's nuts. That's why. We'll keep watching to learn his twisted story, starting with his troubled upbringing, his chaotic descent into madness, his stomach-churning crimes, eventual downfall, and final showdown, right here on All Things True Crime. It's truly chilling. Hey, Misha here. Welcome to All Things True Crime, or welcome back if you're a regular. If you enjoy this video, please like it so more people will see it, and then subscribe to my channel so you won't miss my next video. The subscribe button is just below the video, and if you ding the bell, you will get notified the next time I upload. That's All Things True Crime. So, are you ready for one messed up story? Here we go. It is March 1942. An auto repair machinist who was also a World War II vet and his wife, a homemaker, welcomed their 3rd child and first son into their home. On the outside, it all appears pretty perfect with this seemingly lovely family. But on the inside, behind closed doors, things are not at all as they seem, which is often the case. And in this case, things are not even a little bit normal. While the little boy is close to his mother and sisters, his relationship with his father is quite strained, often at the bad end of his father's alcoholic rants. He always takes the brunt of his father's anger, both physical and verbal. Constantly belittled and beaten, he eventually begins to believe that he is dumb, stupid, weak, and queer, all things that his father tells him every chance he gets. Whenever the boy's mom tries to shield her son from this man's violent outbursts, he instead calls the boy a sissy and a mama's boy who will likely grow up to be gay. This little boy believes that he can never be good enough for his father, but he still loves him and tries to earn his affection nonetheless. The dad was a dirtbag. So it's now 1949, and the boy's just 7, when he and a friend are caught sexually assaulting a young girl. For this, the boy is whipped by his father, and that's a punishment befitting the crime, if you ask me. Later that same year, the boy is repeatedly molested by a family friend. Afraid that his father will blame him, he never tells him and instead keeps this terrible crime a secret, buried. Around the 4th or 5th grade, this boy begins experiencing blackouts. He is eventually hospitalized for them, but is never conclusively diagnosed. His cruel father attributes them to him seeking attention and sympathy. The abuse at the hand of his father continues for years, with many different high school friends witnessing his father's unprovoked verbal abuse and physical beatings. One story from 1957 is that a friend witnesses the boy's drunken father emerge from the family's basement, only to hit his son and yell obscenities. A basement only the father is allowed into and keeps locked. It's creepy. The year is 1960, and the boy is turning 18. Due to his continuous illnesses, including blackouts and various heart problems, he never finishes high school. However, he has a strong interest in politics, finding himself working as an assistant precinct captain for a Democratic Party candidate in his neighborhood. While he enjoys politics, the young man knows deep down he is doing that to once again gain his father's approval. It doesn't work, though, with his father once again berating him, this time by calling him a patsy. I'm really not sure how his father came to that conclusion. Patsy? I don't know. I don't get it. It's later this same year that John's father buys him a car. While this sounds like an improvement in their relationship, it isn't, as his father keeps the title in his name until Gacy pays him for it. This ends up taking several years to complete. During this time, whenever his father becomes angry at him, he simply takes the keys to the car as punishment. Eventually, in 1962, John wisens up and has another set of keys made. It doesn't take long for his father to learn this, though, and in retaliation, removes the distributor cap, thus turning the car into a really heavy, really large paperweight. His dad keeps the component for roughly 3 days. Once he puts it back on, John drives straight to Vegas with no plans of ever coming home. He's just done. With no work lined up, though, in Vegas, he ends up taking a job with an ambulance service, eventually being transferred to a mortuary as an attendant. While working here, he sleeps in the back on a cot behind the embalming room. That's nasty. After working this job for about 3 months or so, he gives in to a really weird desire that he has. First, he makes sure that he's alone before climbing into the coffin with a deceased teenage boy, hugging and caressing the body. Ugh. Later, he freaks out, thinking about what he's done, and calls his parents the next day, begging them to let him return home. His dad agrees, surprisingly, so he hightails it to Chicago the next day. Once home, he decides to enroll in business school. Keep in mind, this guy never graduated from high school. In 1963, he graduates from business school and gets a management trainee position with a local shoe company. In 1964, he gets transferred to Springfield, Illinois to work as a salesman. It is here that he gets promoted to department manager. By March of 1964, he is engaged to a co-worker. While they are dating, he becomes aware of a local group called the JCs, the United States Junior Chamber. It's an organization that aids men aged 18 to 40 with leadership training and civic involvement. I mean, it sounds pretty cool, right? He seems to find enjoyment in it and excels inside the organization. He receives multiple honors and awards during his time with them. This is where things take a sour turn. It's in 1964 that John is partying with his fellow JCs and is targeted by a fellow member. This man makes sure he gets Gacy super drunk before encouraging him to spend the night on his couch. Gacy agrees and wakes up to the man doing things to him while he is still drunk. It's not cool to take advantage of anyone like that. It's messed up. September 1964, John marries his wife. His father-in-law knows his potential and purchases 3 KFCs, offering for John to manage all 3. He and his new bride moved to Waterloo, Iowa to take this opportunity, even being offered his in-laws' recently vacated home as theirs. Sweet. Gacy receives a very hefty salary for managing these restaurants, the equivalent of about $123,000 per year today, plus a share of the profits. It is now 1965. John rises to the position of vice president of the local JCs, along with receiving other accolades. Subsequently, he opens an employee club in his basement, where he and the other members can hang out, drink, and play pool. Sounds harmless enough, right? Wrong. Most of his employees are teenagers, and he obviously gravitates to the teenage boys. He gets them drunk before making sexual advances. When they reject him, he claims he is testing their morals. How nice of him to test them and ensure that they're living moral lives. It's 1966, and his wife gives birth to a son. In 1967, she gives birth to a daughter. He describes this time in his life as the best. Most of that is likely because his father finally gives him his approval and apologizes for the decades of unrelenting physical, verbal, and emotional abuse. My money is on that being what made this period perfect, and that it truly had nothing to do with his children being born. That's it for part 1 of John Wayne Gacy, the Killer Clown. Catch part 2 of the psychopath story next week on All Things True Crime. It's truly chilling. Until next time, stay safe.